What's going on, everyone? My name's David and welcome back to another Buzzfeed test. Merry almost Christmas. This year Christmas falls on a Friday, which means today is Christmas Eve, which means you guys get a brand new holiday themed Buzzfeed test to enjoy on your day off. And of course, happy holidays to everyone else who celebrated anything else this month. I hope you guys had a happy, safe, healthy holiday with some friends or some family. I also think we need to address my beautifully decorated kitchen that took me 2 hours to do and still looks like crap, my Christmas sweater that has the best pun ever written on it, and the Santa hat that is too small for my head. But anyway guys, yesterday I went searching through BuzzFeed's YouTube channels, their Facebook pages, and came across 23 Christmas morning treats your kids will love. I've randomly picked a few that I thought looked the best, and we are going to give them a go today, so let's get to it. The first recipe we're going to try today are these Christmas cornflake wreaths. It seems simple enough, so the ingredients you're going to need are cornflakes, marshmallows, butter, green food coloring, and red cinnamon candies, which I don't have, but instead have these insanely overpriced lollipop sprinkles. These dumb sprinkles were $7. Really, Duff Goldman? But anyway, let's get started. First thing you gotta do is measure out 5.5 cups of cornflakes. You're gonna put those all in a bowl, throw that to the side, and now the recipe calls for an entire stick of butter. I've made recipes like this before and that seems like way too much, so I'm gonna start with a half stick first. So first I melted down the butter. Once the butter was melted, I added 5 big cups of mini marshmallows, melted those down as well, and then added in about a teaspoon of green food coloring and got that a nice vibrant green. Once everything is melted down, you're gonna throw your cornflakes in there, mix those up as best as you can. The main problem I was having here was that the cornflakes kept breaking, which I'm hoping isn't gonna be a problem in the end. Once I got all that mixed up, I grabbed a sheet of wax paper. Don't worry, this one's not going in the oven, and threw 4 big handfuls of cornflakes on there. The recipe says to put a little oil or butter in your fingers so it doesn't stick. I recommend this step because it helped a ton. And then start to form your wreaths. And finally you're going to top that off with your grossly overpriced sprinkles. And according to the recipe, these things are done. So here it is in all of its glory. Even though the recipe doesn't say it, I'm pretty sure you put Rice Krispies in the fridge for a couple minutes, which is why this is so droopy and stuff, but let's give it a try anyway. I actually think I like this one more than the original one. And like I said, you don't really need the butter. Maybe it would have been a little bit easier to mix, but it tastes good to me. Super easy to make, took me 10 minutes. Tastes awesome, 8 out of 10, let's move on. For our second recipe today, we're going to attempt to tackle this hot chocolate on a stick thing. And for that, all you will need are some candy canes, chocolate chips, some heavy cream, sweetened condensed milk, and some marshmallows. Alright, step 1, grab yourself a pot, put it over low heat, and throw in a half cup of heavy cream. That was too hot, ladies and gentlemen. That was clearly too hot. Let's try this again. Much better. And then you're going to throw in an entire can of sweetened condensed milk and continue to stir that until it starts steaming. Once you got to that point, take it off the heat, add in 3 cups of chocolate chips, let that sit a few minutes to let the chocolate melt, and then mix that all together. There's no time on this, but it says just keep mixing it until it becomes smooth and shiny, which should probably look like this. While I was letting it cool, I grabbed some 3-ounce plastic cups, which is the same cups they used in the recipe, and then filled each one of them up with chocolate about 3/4 of the way. Let them set for about 5 minutes, throw a wooden stick in them. I'm assuming a popsicle stick, a wooden dowel, anything you got around will work. After that, I popped them all in the fridge, even though the recipe didn't say to, but I hoped this was going to help them set a little bit quicker. After about 4 or 5 hours, I took them out. I tried to carefully cut a slit on both sides of the cup, and they weren't coming out well. It was really super sticky to the sides of the plastic cup and looked nothing like the picture. This just kind of looks like a mess, in all honesty. Alright, besides the fact that this looks like legitimate poop on a stick, it's good. It's almost like a thicker fudge, but not fully solidified, and like I said, I had this in for hours and it still didn't harden all the way. Maybe I should have put it in the freezer, I don't know. It tastes good. I can't see you actually making this like seriously though. I'll give it like a 7 out of 10. Now let's go grab our donuts. Alright guys, for the final recipe of the day, we are going to try some Peppermint Mocha donuts, and if they come out looking anything like this picture, I will be super happy. Now, the ingredients you're going to need are flour, cocoa powder, espresso powder, which took me forever to find, baking powder, baking soda, salt, granulated sugar, brown sugar, Greek yogurt, milk, 1 egg, vanilla extract, and butter. And that was a mouthful. Alright guys, in order to start assembling these donuts, we're going to begin with the dry ingredients. So throw in 3/4 of a cup of flour, 1/3 of a cup of cocoa powder, 4 teaspoons of espresso, 1 teaspoon of baking powder, 1/2 teaspoon of baking soda, 1/4 teaspoon of salt, 1/4 cup of granulated sugar, 1 tablespoon of brown sugar. And whisk that all together until it kind of looks like a cake mix. Now we're going to put that aside and grab all of our wet ingredients. So grab a 1/4 cup of Greek yogurt, 1/4 cup plus 2 tablespoons of milk, 1 egg, and vanilla extract. Now whip that all together, and once that's mixed, add 1 tablespoon of melted butter. Once that is all combined, we're going to throw all of those wet ingredients into the dry one and stir together thoroughly. I cannot stress this enough. You get a ton of clumps of dry ingredients, so make sure it is all smoothed out. Here is where you're all going to be mad at me. For the life of me, I could not find a donut tray. I went to at least 4 or 5 different stores. No one had them. So what I'm planning on doing is using this cupcake tray and then cut little holes, and they'll just be mini donuts, alright? You'll have to deal with it. But now we're going to take that tray and pour in the batter. Remember, these are going to rise a little bit, so you do not have to fill them up all the way. And finally, they're going to go in a 350-degree oven for 9 to 10 minutes. While that's baking up, I threw together a quick glaze with some powdered sugar, some milk, and some peppermint extract. 9 minutes later, I took them out of the oven and they were looking pretty good. So like I said, I cut off the top, I cut a little hole in them, covered the top in some of our glaze, threw some crushed candy canes, and that actually looks pretty similar to the picture. Alright, minus the donut pan, this one's actually looking pretty good. For the last recipe of the day, I'm impressed. It's cooked perfect, the glaze is good. If I had to make one complaint, that espresso powder is super strong. I love my coffee, but it's a little bit overwhelming. And of course, try to actually find a donut pan. But if you guys like today's holiday themed Buzzfeed test, please hit me with that big thumbs up. Honestly, when I ask for 50, we get 100. When I ask for 100, we get 600. So let's shoot for 300. I think that's a good happy medium. Once again guys, I want to wish everyone a happy and safe and healthy holidays. Whatever you guys celebrate, I hope you enjoy it. As always, both my Instagram and my Twitter will be down in the description if you want to go follow me on those. Of course, if you have more suggestions for me, leave them down in the comments. Other than that, I'll see you right back here next Thursday. Peace! Merry Christmas!